Hail to thee, my kindred. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever and whenever you are. We're playing Cemetery Mary today. That's what we're doing, as the title suggests, because, yes, that's why. The only reason I have is just yes. It's by the same creator that made Blackout Hospital. I'm a little, I'm trying to get this thing to work properly. There's no music right now, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. Gonna have to maybe mess around a little bit with this before we get to that. Maybe there's only sound once you start the game. Maybe. Okay, sound volume. Music volume. Well, I wish I had a way to test this out. Let me see. Okay, yes, it's one of those games that that you have to start the game to actually have it play the music and whatnot. Okay, we're good. All is well. Now I actually have to restart the game so that I can start from the very beginning. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing that I did not mean to click. We'll put this right here so that I can actually see chat and my OBS. And I think we'll just get straight to it. Not much has happened today. I've got nothing to tell in terms of yappage, I suppose. So yeah. We will begin the game. A viewer discretion is advised. If you got any, I guess, problems with any of the listed things on the screen, be weary, be careful, and take care of yourself, yeah? Maybe I need to turn up the music a little bit. Let me see. I think that's decent right there, no? No, is it showing up on the screen correctly? Yes, okay, good. I have never been to a funeral I didn't enjoy. That is until very recently. And I wasn't quite sure how to feel. It was a beautiful service, and one they certainly deserved. If only it had come later in their life time, and maybe it could have been prevented. If there wasn't a murder in my city. That's what everyone's been saying anyways. The Blackwood Butcher. Ooh, spooky. And that's what they called him, at least. It was hard not to overhear the rumors people said about them. I heard they strike at night. I heard they only target one person at a time and don't stop until they're dead. I heard it's a ghost, blindly seeking revenge. I didn't believe any of that. At least, not at first. But my parents did. And because of that, they didn't like me going off to the cemetery alone. I mean, going off to the cemetery in general is a bit of an odd activity, I will admit. So, understandable reaction. Staying until it closed. Walking home by myself in the dark. Even though it was only across the street, these rumors had made them afraid of my safety. For my safety. Do you really believe they're real? I asked my father. I do, he answered. Are you really worried for me? My mother did not say anything. But that is to be expected. They thought I was a perfect target. But I still didn't believe in it. They they worried about me. So they sent me off to live with my auntie, uncle, and cousin. They didn't live far. At least, not anymore. They moved from their fancy home in gorgeous Hallen City to a small little cabin in the woods. I never understood why, but I never really asked about it either. My parents felt I thought my parents felt I would be safer with them. I didn't want to leave, but every day I stayed only seemed to stress them out more. So I went to make them feel better. For the first weeks, everything was fine. I barely left the house, barely went to town anymore. And when I did, I was always with someone, taking all precautions to avoid being a victim of the butcher. But I still thought it was only a rumor. Even if the number of deaths in our community increased, I never thought that I, or someone I knew, would be a victim. Then that thing happened. To those two. And for the first time, I was worried. Shortly after that, my own parents disappeared. They weren't in the diner, nor could I contact them. Even the authorities couldn't figure it out. No one had seen them. It was as if they had suddenly vanished. As if they were killed. I don't like to think about that possibility. Actually, well, there was also that other thing that happened. Maybe I should have told the authorities about it. Or anyone for that matter. But I was too afraid of what might happen if I did. Your parents are safe, question mark. Ooh, mysterious contact. I knew I would fall asleep if I sat down. She's in dad mode. Is it raining outside? It wasn't supposed to rain today. The lights on outside. Is Croven out there? Better go check. Ooh, conversation, dialogue, yay! Choices. I love choices. This time we cannot do the typical flipping of a coin. Why is my phone acting weird? Sorry, I just trying to pay attention to this thing, but my phone was buzzing for some reason. Hmm, odd. Okay, what are our choices today? What are you doing out here? It's raining. You are out here. Where's aunt and uncle? Croven, I finished dinner. Come inside. I mean, that'd be a lie, wouldn't it? What if we did we finish dinner? Were we working on dinner? Does it even matter which choice we make? I mean, maybe dinner would make him come inside. Who knows? Probably not, though. Look at him. He's all emo and everything. Smoking out while it's raining. So, what's the word? Not edgy, but, edgy is the wrong word here. Oh well. What if we lie? Let's tell him dinner's ready. It's spaghetti. I used your favorite sauce, too. Okay, I'll be inside in a second. Just let me put this out. Oh, that worked. All the food is cold. I know, I fell asleep after I made it. No, I just wanted to take a seat in the living room, but it's fine. I'm not complaining. Other than that, we didn't say much, and dinner was quiet. I cleaned up most of it, but Croven helped a little bit. After that, he went to go sit in the living room. Once I finished cleaning the kitchen up, I joined him, like usual. Normally after dinner when Croven and I sit together, we do something fun. Play a game on our phones together, or we get out a board game, we play cards, talk about our days if something exciting happened. But that's when aunt and uncle were still. Croven's been in a pretty bad mood since. It's not as if I can blame him. I want to talk to him too. I want to talk to him, but I don't really know if he's in much of a mood to talk. What should I do? Well, he's on his phone. I don't know. I don't think he'd want to be bothered, to be honest. Making an attempt is always kind of nice, though, no? This is a situation. I mean, he's been nice so far. Why not try? Bro, do you want to talk about it? Nothing to talk about. I still got my old therapist number, you know. Rovin? Ain't there a reason she's your old one? Ain't there a reason she was your old one? I know. She was good with this kind of stuff. I've been thinking that maybe. Shut up, Mary. Shut up already. Can't I be bitter over it? Why are you trying so hard to rush me to therapy, huh? You knew about this shit better than anyone, but here you are. I'm not gonna stop being upset just because you miss me being all happy, smiley, and shit. You stop trying to fucking talk to me about it. Get over it when I get over it. Maybe get your own life and stop worrying so much over mine. Sorry. I think I ended up making Croven a little more agitated trying to talk to him about it. Oh well. I had a feeling I shouldn't have. After a few moments of awkward sitting, I went upstairs and headed to my bedroom. I didn't want to make Croven angrier than I had already. I brushed my teeth and got changed into my pajamas. I stretched out on the what you could consider my bed. The room I have in the cabin is nice. It's not like my room back in my actual home, but I stayed here so long, I've been able to decorate it a bit more to my liking. It's a pleasant room to stay in, even if it's not quite home. Of course, I don't normally sleep right away. I usually read a book, or watch a movie on my laptop, or lie awake thinking of every embarrassing thing that's ever happened in my life. She's just like me. But as of recently, I've picked up a different nighttime ritual, one that's nowhere near as pleasant. The text message I had received the days following my parents' disappearance. It was from a number I didn't recognize. Your parents are safe, it had said. I know I should have done something smart. I should have told somebody. But instead, I texted the number back, and they responded to me. I've noticed that I've noticed that other than the first message, they usually don't reach out to me. It's me who keeps texting them, hoping to find out what's happened behind all of this. Are you still awake? I am awake whenever you want to talk. Will you tell me who you are? That I cannot do. My identity must remain hidden. Forever? No, not forever. Then why can't you just tell me who this is? Because it's not safe. Why wouldn't it be safe? You'll have to trust me on that. I don't trust you at all. How did you even get my number? Your parents gave it to me. Why would they do that? Because they care about you. You must be lying to me. My parents wouldn't do something like that. I'm sorry. You don't know your parents as well as you think you do. What does that mean? Seriously, you freak me out. I just want my parents back. Please don't drag this out. I just want them back home. You should get some rest. It's late, isn't it? I'll talk to you tomorrow. I don't like to text for too long. Until then, goodbye. Goodbye. This is worrisome. Man, how long has it been since our parents' disappearance is my question. How long has she been just texting this random stranger? They suggested that I get some rest. But how do they expect me to do that? I never had I had never felt more restless in my life. Even asleep. I knew I wouldn't rest. When I woke up the next morning, Croven had already left for the day. But that wasn't a surprise. He'd been staying out late and leaving super early ever since the incident. I think being home bothers him. I'm not surprised. Whenever I pass the dinner, I too feel like not being there. Wait, did I read that right? Yeah, okay. I thought I misread that. It's not the same without mom and dad after all. And despite the cabin being out in the middle of the woods, it really isn't all that hard to get to Blackwood. Outside of our cabin is a faint dirt trail. It gets a bit twisty at some parts, but isn't too confusing. It takes about 15 minutes to walk down, but maybe 10 if you're fast. At the end of the trail, there's a fence. One with a slight gap in it. And past that fence, there's a little community. It isn't big. A few trailers with a few people living all the way out here. Far from anything that's, well, anything. But there's a road here, and a bus that comes through. It runs through Blackwood. So whenever we need to leave, we take this bus. And then after the end of a short trip, you're in Blackwood, the city I grew up in. And I always really loved it. There's the library and the local stores, but my favorite place to be is the Blackwood Cemetery. I still, I still think that's a little bit of a weird place to count as your favorite place to be in, but I maybe we'll get a reason as to why. It's got lots of trees to read under, the prettiest headstones I've ever seen. There's also there's a mausoleum too, though I've never been inside. Private mausoleum, you know? I don't know who it belongs to. Anyways, I always try to leave flowers when I visit, at least every so often. And I visit a lot. And I like to think it helps them, you know? Not feel lonely. And then, after having spent my day in Blackwood, I come back home the same way I left. But I always make sure no one sees the way I came back home. Just in case, you know? I don't know, but sure. And despite the recent events, I too leave the cabin more than ever now. Croven is rarely home, and I don't like being here alone. I know I'm just being paranoid, but I don't like the thought that maybe the could find me out here all alone. Even if that's the whole reason I'm out here in the first place. So I go out a lot now. I feel more comfortable surrounded by lots of people. Despite how things may seem, I always prefer to be around people anyways. That's the one reason I like to go to the cemetery so often. There's always people there, even if you can't see them. It's a little bit creepy, but okay. I understand the logic. After I got out of bed, I made myself a small breakfast and got changed into my favorite outfit. Croven's gone, and the bus I take into town should be arriving any minute now. Where should I go today? Library. I decided to go to the library. There's nothing quite like a good book. My favorite kind of book are mysteries. Not necessarily murder mysteries, but mysteries in general. In fact, I kinda prefer it when the mysteries don't involve anyone dying. There's a lot less tension there, you know? But maybe I'm just too soft. I also quite enjoy manga. Nerd. Especially the shoujo kind. The shoujo kind. I feel almost embarrassed to like them, but I feel like that they're cute and nice. And I like seeing characters fall in love. Yeah, a shoujo. I don't know how to pronounce that. Shoujo? Shoujo, I think, right? Maybe that's what I'll try to find in the library today. I stepped into the library and began to make my way over to my favorite spot. A tucked away corner in the library right by a single window. Sometimes I'd spent an entire day in the corner just reading. And I've even managed to finish entire books without leaving the library. I looked forward to doing something like that again today, but when I got to my favorite spot, I noticed a man was already sitting there. I was surprised because usually this library was pretty empty. I like the little guy in the shelf. It looks like a turkey, but just the body and the feathers and the legs. But this man, he's familiar. I've met him before. Oh, my apologies. Did I take your seat? This guy was the doctor in the last game we played in Blackout Hospital. He was the doctor that took care of Mary, so it's a little bit funny to see him just see the same characters under a different context. Oh, it's you. Mary. Marianta, yes? Ah, that's right. I remember you. From the funeral, right? Indeed. Do you remember my name? Reginald? That's right. It's a pleasure to see you here. I was hoping I'd run into you again one day. Oh? Uh-huh. I hope that doesn't come off as weird. You were such a pleasant person to be around. You really brought life into that funeral. Ha 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 ha. Oh, really? Th- Thank you? I think? So, what brings you to the library today? Oh, well, I didn't really have plans, so I thought I'd just check out a book or something. Likewise. What kind of book were you interested in checking out? It's like either we can be truthful or we can lie. Oh no, already. Decisions, decisions. Do we flip a coin? Do we let the gods decide? I shall flip a coin. Heads is the truth, tails is a lie, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch this with one hand again. It's been a while since I've done the flipping of the coin. So let's see what we end up with. Heads, so I guess we're telling the truth. And I did catch it, by the way. Um, I'm actually here for a shoujo manga. A shoujo manga? What's that? Oh, it's like... Do you know what a manga is? I have an idea, but I can't say I've ever read one myself. Well, it's like one of those, but it's usually centered around the romance between the two main characters. And sometimes there's like friends or rivals. But I really like the comedy ones because you get cute jokes mixed around into the romance. But sometimes the drama ones are really cute too, and they can get really intense. And sorry, I'm rambling. I'm not good at explaining things. Me neither. No worries, I think you did a good job. A shoujo. Sounds interesting. Perhaps I'll check one out myself later. I'm trying to be more open to new things after all. Anyways, what are you here to read? Me? I'm reading Manslaughter on the Disorient Locomotive. That's a name. That's a little bit long for this book sounds like something that would have come out in like, I don't know, 18 something. The 1920s perhaps, since it's talking about locomotives. Oh, I've been meaning to read that one too. Do you want it then? What? Oh, no, no, that's okay. Please take your time. Just, if you wouldn't mind, would you tell me when you're done with it? You know, so I could maybe read it after. I'm fine with that. Though I've already gotten pretty far, and I don't think I'll be finished today. You have a cell phone, yes? Would it be alright if I have your number? That way I can notify you as soon as I'm finished. And, well, I'd like to try and be friends too, if that's alright. Oh, really? I mean, yes, of course. Reginald and I almost said began, exchanged phone numbers. I was shocked he even remembered me. But I considered meeting him again a pleasant surprise, and one I really appreciated. After our exchange, I picked out a shoujo book from one of the shelves and began to read one of the other I can't read and began to read in one of the other spots in the library. I ended up liking it so much, I looked for the other books and brought two or three with home with me later to read later. After I came home, had dinner, and cleared the kitchen up, I began my usual nighttime routine. I got changed into pajamas, brushed my teeth, sat on my bed, and texted whoever they were. Hi, it's me again. Are you there? Yes. You're still not going to tell me anything, are you? No. Well, that was pretty straightforward, huh? Can I ask you something, even if you won't give me an honest answer anyways? Okay. Are you the Blackwood Butcher? Would I tell you if I was? Are you afraid for their safety? Of course, why wouldn't I be? I see. I don't know if we should be more centered around ourselves or asked about our parents. Because either way, I don't feel like we're really gonna get an answer that's usable. Should I be afraid of for my own safety? Who am I to tell you what you should and shouldn't be afraid of? Your fears are your own to judge. You're way too vague. Why do you even contact me to begin with? I thought you'd like to know about your parents. I'm only trying my best to keep you happy. You think I'm happy? Maybe not now, but you will be. A little fucking ominous, no? I have to go now. Goodbye. Goodbye. After another frustrating and unsettling night of texts, I got under the covers and tried my best to sleep. I don't know how you could sleep at all, knowing that there's somebody out there. Who knows if they're stalking you or really have your parents? You know. I mean, if the butcher got your parents, they sure as hell know who you are, and that's the tricky part, right? It's most likely the butcher, but at the same time, that is the obvious answer, and therefore most likely not the answer to our question here. Unless that's the twist, that it is the butcher. But then, unless you get to play that out in a very smart way, I don't see how that would be an interesting story to tell. It wasn't easy, and I had a lot of difficulty trying. I don't remember exactly when, but eventually I was able to sleep, even if not peacefully. Dad? Yes, sweetheart? Um, it's so small. Yes? Is something wrong? Mama told me that Uncle Ray died. Did she now? Are we going to see him? No, no. You don't need to worry about that. I don't? But listen, Mary. Normally, when someone passes, you hold a funeral for them, right? Yeah. The thing about funerals, though, is that they're for people who are worth remembering. That's a little somber. After I got out of bed, I made myself a small breakfast and got changed into my favorite outfit. You mean your only outfit? Croven's gone, and the bus I take out of town should be arriving anytime soon. Where should I go today? Cemetery. Psych, the cafe. We'll go to the cemetery last. Maybe I should save, since it's like the next day. I forget that like this is like a manual thing I have to think about. I decided to go to the new cafe that opened up. Planet Dollars is a popular cafe chain, but we've never had one in this town. Well, until now, that is. And I've always wanted to go to one, just to try it, you know? Although, I don't actually like coffee. But still, I could at least see what they had, right? When I got to the cafe, it was already packed. Though, since it had already been around a few weeks, some of the hype around surrounding it would have died down. But I guess not, seeing as how noisy and crowded it was. Still, at least it was something different than from usual. As I said, I'm not particularly fond of coffee, and since I had a light breakfast anyways, I decided to treat myself with a muffin. Muffins are pretty damn tasty. I don't care what anybody says. Make it a warm one too, not a cold one. I mean, if it's cold, that's fine. Absolutely, I'm gonna destroy that thing. But if it's like a warm, like right out of the oven muffin, just delicious. A chocolate muffin. because sweet foods are the best. However, I found myself in a bit of a pinch when I tried to look for some place to sit down. It seemed as though everyone's seats were already taken, and I really didn't want to walk and eat at the same time. Luckily, though, I was able to find an empty seat. A girl around my age with the most peculiar eyebrows was diligently working on her laptop with an empty seat across from her. So I like to mention about her eyebrows. Like, I mean, look at your knees, girl. You don't have any space to talk about other people's appearances. What are you, like a doll, a robot? I figured she must be writing an essay for college or something. Coffee shops are popular with people in college, or so I hear. Seeing as it was the only seat left, I asked her, "Excuse me, may I sit here?" She didn't verbally answer me. Rather, she glanced over at me, rolled her eyes, and nodded to me to the empty chair. I tried to look apologetic as I sat. "Thank you." It's okay. Save here because I feel like, that's a smart thing to do. Let's make sure. Okay, double checked. It's good to go. I don't think she'd like to be interrupted, so let's just stay quiet. Why is she, God damn it, why is there another choice? Just stay hushed. No? Okay, that would be a little funny to say. I kinda want to pick this option. I kinda want to do it. She do have some wild ass eyebrows. I mean, look at them things. They just you swoop up. I mean, if we stay quiet, does anything really bad happen? Do these choices even matter? That's a question I have. I assume they do. There are multiple endings, but how do we approach this particular situation? I don't want to be mean either. It'd just be kind of funny. It'd be funny to ask about the eyebrows. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry. Thanks. So, you're interested in what I'm doing here? Well, yeah, I guess. You seem to be very focused after all. As focused as I can be. What's your name? Me? I'm Mary. Twyla, nice to meet you. Anyways, I'm working on a report. A report? Like for school? No. Have you noticed something odd going on in town recently? Something odd? I'm not surprised if you haven't heard about it. It's like the police are trying to dull suspicions. Or just arrest potential suspects so everyone can feel safe. Oh. Oh, you're talking about the killing rumors. The Blackwood Butcher, right? Don't say it out so loud. But... Yes, how did you know? Oh, well, I've been hearing the rumors for a while now. And actually, my aunt and uncle died pretty recently. They were, killed. Really? Uh-huh. That's actually pretty... How did they die? Oh, I don't know. No one really told me, but the circumstances are strange. Like, they didn't die naturally. There was definitely someone else involved. At least that's what I've been told. Uh-huh. Interesting. Maybe you can help me with this report. And, some other stuff. Oh? I can? Yeah. If you're okay with that, of course. Oh, yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, having a killer around is bad, so if I can help, like, raise awareness or something. I mean, like... Yes! I'd like to help you. Thanks. I don't know what kind of voice to give Twyla. This'll really put me ahead. I have to go, actually. I'm running late for something. Here, give me your phone number. I'm not entirely sure I'll need your help, but I'd rather have a way to contact you, just in case. Oh, yeah, yeah, of course. Well, that conversation went better than I thought it would go. Maybe being indirect is the best way to go with her. At least in terms of the first introduction. Or, on the other hand, maybe this was meant to happen. Maybe we're meant to meet all of these characters and interact with them anyways. Get their phone numbers, that sort of thing. Twyla and I exchanged phone numbers. After she packed up her laptop and was picked up by a car outside. Come to think of it, I didn't actually see her drink any coffee or order any food. I guess maybe she finished before I got here. I don't know why she would choose such a noisy place to work, though. Free internet. Free Wi Fi. That's my assumption. After spending my day looking in some nearby stores, I went home pretty tired. I ate leftovers for dinner and yawned more than once as I got changed into pajamas. I plopped myself into my bed and pulled out my phone, ready to continue the nightly conversation. You're there, right? Of course I am. I don't know why I keep contacting you. I guess I'm just afraid that if I don't, you'll disappear or something. It's unlikely. I know you won't tell me where my parents are, but could you at least tell me why you took them? No. Okay, like damn. Why not? I don't know who could be seeing these messages. Are you worried about being traced? Possibly. I may even change phones from time to time just to be careful, but you'll know it's me. I don't know if that should be comforting or not. I really don't see how this works. How am I supposed to trust you aren't someone dangerous if you don't give me any info to go off of? Especially when I haven't even heard from my parents. Goodbye, Mary. Sleep well. Just avoid the fucking questions, Mr. Stranger. Or Mrs. Stranger. I don't know. I felt sick that night as I tried to go to sleep. I tossed and turned so many times, and yet I was still too tired to get up and try doing something else. I don't remember when, but eventually I was able to fall asleep. I didn't sleep very well, though. Another dream, perhaps? I'm not going back out there. You know how they were looking at me? I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm just. Maybe it's better if I don't anymore. Mom just stayed quiet as hell. I wonder what that was all about. Okay. Where should I go today? Guess we'll go to the cemetery. I went to my favorite place, the cemetery. The cemetery is pretty much on the same block as my family's restaurant. Right next to it, in fact. All you have to do is cross the street, and it's on the same side of the road. And I think my parents chose this location because it's good for business. And that's what Mom told me, anyways. People are usually hungry after a funeral. Crying really takes a lot out of you, after all. And I was always glad to live there because I really loved visiting the cemetery. And I like to walk down the rows and see who got flowers that day. And that's what I do most days. Sometimes I'll pick my own flowers just to leave on the graves that look like they've been forgotten about. I'm actually quite known for the cemetery. Some people have even begun to use a nickname for me, though I don't know how many of them even know what I look like. Hey, it's fucking what was their name? I think I forgot. I forgot their name. When I arrived at the cemetery gates, however, I was surprised to see Croven standing there with what looked like a new friend. Croven? Mary? Did you follow me? Huh? No, I didn't. I always come here. Yeah, but that's usually not until later. Why are you here so early? I mean, it's not like as if I had anything better to do. Oh, you have to be here right now? I'm kind of on a date. Oh, this is a date? I mean, it can be, if you want it to be. Hmm, I'll think about it. It's like, It's like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want us to be here, but I guess we'll ask questions about this whole situation. Be a little, be a little nosy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's like, how was I supposed to know you'd be here? I'm sorry, what? Try to turn this around into another stupid fight, Mary. Hey, take it easy on her. Cousin Vasilis, I can talk to her however I want. Maybe you should take a show pill. Alright, Mary, but can you please go? I really just don't have the energy for the energy for this right now. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to intrude. I'll I'll see you later. Later. See you some other life. See you some other life, Mary. I left Croven alone. I didn't want to interrupt his little date or whatever. I especially didn't want to make him more mad at me. However, I wasn't going to let him stop me from going to the cemetery. I continued on, past the gates and stepped inside. It seemed emptier than usual. It didn't look like any funerals were being held today. Would it be mean of me to wish that there was? Yeah, it probably would be. A little bit, I would wager. Forget I said anything like that. It was a really awful thing to say. When nighttime rolled around, I headed back home. I slipped into my pajamas and headed to bed almost immediately. Of course, though, I couldn't sleep right away. I had someone I needed to talk to first. Good evening. Good evening. Again. Good evening. May I ask you something? You always do. How do you know my name is Mary? I've always known. Huh? I've always known what your name is. Have we met before? If we did, you probably wouldn't remember. If? So we didn't meet. Take the take the take the if as a maybe. We may have met before. But would it make any difference if you didn't remember me? It would be as if we were meeting for the first time. That's weird. I'm uncomfortable. I mean, you should be just as. I mean, she kinda has been this entire time. Any updates on my parents? They're fine. Will I ever see them again? Yes. Because I'm coming to get you too. I just need more time. Good night, Mary. Well, now that's ominous. Someone's coming to get us. I went to sleep feeling pretty shaken that night. I try not to think about it. I'm surprised I was able to get any sleep at all. I'm surprised I didn't have any nightmares either. Uncle Cross? Yeah, Mary? Cross, can I ask you a question? Sure thing, kiddo. Shoot, how do you lose your eye? Ah, Mary. That's not. It's fine, I don't mind. I lost my eye in the war. You were in the war, Uncle Cross? I was. I won't get into the specifics of it, but it was important to me that I protected my family in any way I could. Do you miss it? My eyeball? Yeah. You know something? Not as much as I thought I would. I think I would miss you a lot more. Hmm. Well, that one was a little more pleasant. I guess next time we'll get a dream about Auntie? Auntie Cross, I guess? If they're, I'm assuming their last name is Cross. Maybe it's not. Maybe his first name is Cross, so we just call him Uncle Cross. That's most likely the. It'd be weird. Well, maybe not weird necessarily. I guess it depends, but I feel like it'd be a little weird to refer to your family members by their last name in this day and age. I woke up late this next morning. I must have been pretty tired after the last few days. I dragged myself out of bed and followed my normal morning routine. Got changed into my favorite broutfit. I was reading breakfast and outfit at the same time. Broutfit. My favorite outfit, it had breakfast, etc. And of course, Croven was nowhere to be seen. However, when I checked my phone that morning, I realized he had sent me a message. To my surprise, there were other messages that gods above. To my surprise, there were other messages there as well from my new friends. Whose should I read first? Probably Croven, to be honest, just so we know not to cross him because he's all pissy. Hey Mary, I'm sorry. I know I've been acting pretty nasty to you lately. I hope you know I didn't mean it. Have you been to Planet Dollars yet? I'll be heading there for lunch today. Maybe at like 12:30? You should come and have lunch with me. My treat. Then I can like formally apologize or whatever. Reginald. Good morning, Miss Marianta. I hope you're doing well today. You had asked about the book the other day, right? Well, I actually finished it quicker than I expected to. I'd really love to give it to you, but I won't be at the library today. I'm actually going to be at the cemetery. You like that place though, right? You should come see me. Then I can pass the book over to you. I'll be there a quarter afternoon or so. And maybe after we can grab lunch or something together? I hope that doesn't come off weird. I'd just like some company after for my lunch break. Call me back. Twyla. Mary, it's Twyla. If you're still interested in helping me, I'll be at the library around noon today. Everybody's at the fucking everywhere at noon. It should be quieter there. And there are some books I want to pick up for research purposes. Sure if you can, and if not, I'll just call you up another time. I was messaged by each one of them. However, I think I'll only be able to have time to meet up with one of them today. Where should I go today then? Okay, this is a little bit important, so... Let's try and make amends with, like, the one family member we have around. Even if he was being a bit of a dick, you know? We don't know how recent he's lost his uncle and, mom. Well, not his uncle, his dad and mom. So, you know... you gotta be there, you know, for the fam, I guess. And he did reach out, so, you know... I feel like that's it's a bit of a courtesy, right? Someone reaches out to offer an apology, and you don't have to, right? But, you know, considering the circumstance, I feel a little bit obligated, I would say. It was a tough choice, but I had to choose one of them. I told the others I had plans and that I'd have to meet with them some other time. Then, when noon rolled around, I headed to my destination. I spotted Croven pretty quickly. Dressing the way we do, it wasn't that hard. I'd recognize those red and black striped sleeves from a mile away. When Croven saw me, he gave me a hug. And it made me realize how long it's been since he last hugged me. His arms felt relaxed, and he was wearing his classic smile. For a moment, it looked as if he was back to his normal old self. We had lunch together, and like he had promised, it was his treat. And then they said, "Oh, Chroma, so you definitely dabbed?" Of course I did. You know I had to do it to him. That's so you. I know, right? I thought about mentioning how happy I was that he was starting to feel alright. But I was worried that by bringing it up, he might get upset again. So I just kept the conversation going. There was no reason to bring it up anyways. So, would you consider it a successful date? Oh yeah, totally. I mean, they looked ready to kill me by the end of it, but in the fun way, you know? Kinda like how my mom looks at dad whenever he makes a bad pun. Exactly. Aw, I'm so happy for you. Do you think you'll take them out again? Do you think you'll take him out again? Maybe. Wow. Going on a date sounds fun. Aw, don't worry, Mars. Someone will take you out too one day. So, anyways, do you like it here? The Planet Dollars, I mean. I always thought it was overhyped, but now that we have one, it actually isn't too shabby. Oh, actually, I've been here before. Oh, you have? When? Oh, I was just here the other day because I wanted to check it out. Funnily enough, I was at this table too. Oh, you did? What? Wait. It's like, oh, you did? Wait. Who's we? Did you suddenly make a friend behind my back? Huh? Oh. When I was here, the place was pretty packed, so the only empty seat was at this table. But some other girl was sitting here too, and I guess we're like, kinda friends now? I mean, I just met her, but we're keeping in contact, so. Her name is Twyla. Twyla? Twyla? Yeah? Is there a problem with that? Mary, listen to me. I'm saying this because I care about you. Stay away from Twyla. Huh? Why? Damn, I'm peeking this mic. Why? You just can't talk to her, okay? I can't. Ugh. Of all the people, you had to talk to her. She's the kind of girl who'd stab the devil in the ass with his own pitchfork. Seriously, you shouldn't be talking to her. Do you know her? Did something happen between you two? You've never mentioned her before, and... Mary, please. I know I'm coming off really bad right now. And you probably think I'm being a giant dick. Kinda, bro. But just don't talk to her. You just can't. I mean, if she's that bad... I don't know. I mean, she seemed nice enough, but like, if he would just be more clear about why he doesn't want us to talk to her, mayhaps making this choice would be easier. Like, okay, to be fair, she, how do I say this? She probably only wants us around because of the whole information thing she's doing, and I don't think that's a bad thing, right? I think, she being the kind of person that's like, hey, it seems like the police are keeping this on the down low and nobody's really doing much about it, that is important. It is important that she's making the report on that, but, you know, at the same time, like, let us make our own fucking decisions, my guy. Like, let us do this ourselves, all right? If she's that bad, I'll watch my back. I already promised I'd help her with some stuff. But I trust your reasons for disliking her, even if I don't know what they are. I think it's a little late to back out of the arrangement, but I'll definitely take what you said to heart. I'll be careful. Good. You should be. Come on, let's go throw our trash. Crone was still salty over Twyla, even after I had attempted to drop the conversation. He said he wouldn't talk about it anymore. But I better not mention him to Twyla. Ever. We tried to spend the rest of the day together, but it was more than apparent he wasn't in a good mood anymore. At least by the time we started heading home, he had calmed down to a much more normal state. After getting home, he said he was gonna smoke outside for a little bit, so I let him and headed up to bed, and did what I do every night. Hi. Hello. Can we talk about that thing you said the other night? I haven't been able to stop thinking about it ever since you said it. What's bothering you? You said that you were coming for me. That you just needed more time. Are you really going to steal me too? It'll be alright. Fucking sure it will, bud. Sure it will. I promise. It's for the best. You're gonna make me feel sick all over again. What do you want me to tell you? Who you really are, maybe? Is that really what you want? You'll see me soon, but you shouldn't worry about it. It will happen when it happens. This is for the best. Even if you can't see that right now. Even if you can't ever. When will this when will this be over? Soon, hopefully. And I just need more time. You'll hang on for me, won't you? Do I have a choice? Sweet dreams, Mary. I didn't sleep at all that night, understandably. like like what the hell are you supposed to do with that information? I really didn't. There were a few times I shut my eyes and tried to, but nothing could calm me down anymore at this point. My anxiety was through the roof, and I just wanted mom and dad back. I wanted to know for certain that they were okay. It should have been me that was taken. Maybe it was supposed to be. The next morning when I got up, Croven was still home. He seemed to be acting pretty normal for once. At the very least, not agitated. But despite this, I didn't sit and have breakfast with him. I wasn't in the mood to really talk to anyone, not right now. Not after last night. It was too much. I just wanted some private time to myself. I wanted to cool down. As I was about to leave, Crow called out to me. Not eating breakfast, Mars? And I responded. Uh, I mean, maybe we'll meet a friend for breakfast. I don't know. He responded with a simple okay, and after that, I was out the door. I just wanted to go to that place and not be bothered. On the bus ride, all three of them texted me again. Croven said he noticed I left pretty quickly and hoped I wasn't upset with him for his behavior lately. Twilight talked about some of her progress on her research, and Reginald said he'd be at the cemetery again today. Although I appreciate their messages, I really just needed to be alone. I needed to go back there and just relax. No, that's not the right word. I wasn't going there to relax. I was going there to mourn. The Dine Red. And this is where I grew up. I lived my whole life in this diner. Restaurant? Bistro? I never know the right word for places like this. We always had such silly names for it since it was next to the cemetery. The restaurant in a piece. Sometimes the diner. Even just simply Dine Dead. I always wondered if others caught on. You probably wouldn't know just from looking at it, but there's 2 floors. The bottom floor is the diner itself. I've eaten there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Sometimes all 3 in the same day. The top floor is more like a house. Our house. There's bedrooms and a bathroom, and even a small living space with a TV. It can be a little cramped sometimes, but it's cozy. No one could get up there but me and my parents, of course. The upstairs is locked. You'd need a key. which I have, of course. After Mom and Dad went missing, the authorities locked this place up, and it's been locked ever since. They don't want anyone going in there, not even me, because I don't know, it's kind of like a crime scene or something. But I still have the key for the front, too. It's my house, after all. I carefully scanned the area around me as I stood in the parking lot. There were a few cars that passed by and maybe a person or two on the sidewalk, but no one really seemed to pay me any mind. It was still a bit early in the morning, so it wasn't surprising to see so few people out. I looked over my shoulder I looked over my shoulder a few more times to make sure no one was watching me. Then I stepped out up to the front door, unlocked it, and took a step inside, closing the doors behind me carefully. When I stepped inside, I was instantly hit with a wave of all different kinds of emotions. I had been avoiding this diner for a long time because whenever I passed it, I would just think of Mom and Dad and feel sad. But now, stepping inside it, it felt nice. At least a little bit. Just being able to be on my own, in my own house after so long, it was bittersweet. On one hand, I felt so happy to just be home. Everything was just as I had left it. The light still entered in through the windows the same way it always did. And I still smelled faintly of delicious food, even though the kitchen hasn't been used in a while. Even my mom's special board was in the same spot. But it felt so empty. So desolate, so abandoned. There wasn't even any electricity here. This place was hardly ever empty. We always had customers, the diner always did so well. There was hardly a moment where I can't come downstairs and only see Mom and Dad. There was always people, even if just one person was here. The counter would be full of coffee drinkers at night and in the mornings. I'd see families come by for dinner, people out on dates come here sometimes. I always loved being able to see that. There were so many good memories in this place. Like, the married couple that came in, the time we had Halloween, or my 13th birthday. I actually don't know. Kinda wanna know about all of it. Let me drink some water. Some agua. I actually don't know any other word for water. It kinda went. A single drop went down the wrong hole. Let's see. The married couple, I suppose? I knew they were married because the bride was wearing her gown. Yeah, I was still a little girl then, so she looked like a princess in my eyes. Her dress was poofy enough to lose yourself in, and she attracted quite a bit of attention when she came in. Mostly from me. When my dad asked why they were here of all places, the bride said that she wanted her grandfather to see her in her dress. But her grandfather was dead and buried in the cemetery right next to us, so it was the closest she would get. I remember talking to her. She was so kind. Or at least that's how I remember her. I asked her if she was sad that her grandfather died, and she said she wasn't. She said he wasn't gone, just someplace else. She could visit him at any time, right in the cemetery. Those words, that idea, really stuck with me as a child. Maybe that's one of the reasons I enjoyed visiting it so often. It probably sounds really silly, but but it really meant a lot to me in the moment. I can't remember what it is she came in for exactly, but I do remember the exact seat she sat in at the counter. I would always try to sit there too whenever I could, but now it's all covered in dust. And now no one's here. Where should I go? We don't know much about Mom and Dad, so I kinda wanna go in there. And I decided to walk up to my parents' room. And I just missed them so much I couldn't bring myself not to. Manta Ray! And I stepped into my parents' room. The curtains were drawn open and warm light flooded into the room as the sun finally came from behind the clouds today. And I could still smell some of my mom's perfume lingering in the air. Everything was just so neat, just as they had always kept things. You wouldn't even have guessed they were kidnapped. There were no signs of a struggle, or even any sort of mess at all. The bed was made, and all their stuff was exactly where it should be. The only thing different was a fine layer of dust from how long it had been. And the fact that my parents weren't there. Here. I sat on my parents' bed. It always was softer than mine. I remember sleeping here as a little girl when I didn't feel quite big enough to sleep in my own bed just yet. Mom would always build pillow forts here sometimes. Oh, help me build pillow forts here sometimes, and we would hang up a sign that said, "No boys allowed." It didn't take long for me to start crying. I miss my mom and dad. I never even got the chance to say goodbye to them. The last message I got from them, it was my mom telling me she hoped I would sleep well that night. And then, the next day, they were gone. Just like that. What do I do now? What if they never come back? What if I already saw them for the last time? I ended up falling asleep on my parents' bed. I was already exhausted from my lack of sleep, and crying certainly didn't help in that respect. When I woke up, I was unaware of how much time had passed. But I felt groggy, and I didn't think I should stay any longer. It probably just made me feel worse. I got up from the bed and began to head back downstairs. It wasn't until I got to the bottom of the stairs that I noticed someone was there. Some stranger kneeling over in the front of the doorway for whatever reason. I was almost frozen in my spot. Who were they? Why were they there? No one should have been able to get in. This place is locked up. No one should have. That's right. I unlocked it. Crap. I stood there hoping they wouldn't see me. The way they were dressed with baggy dark clothes and their hood up told me they were most likely bad news. Did they follow me in here? I wasn't sure what to do. I thought about trying to escape out the back way or sneakily head back down upstairs if need be, but as soon as I took a step back, I tripped slightly and let out a small yelp as I caught myself on one of the bar stools. The stranger immediately bolted outside. Wait! I wasn't even able to get a good look at them. For a split second, I considered trying to chase after them. And even if that wasn't a stupid idea, they ran much faster than I could keep up with anyways. Panicked and slightly shaking, I took out my phone. I was so nervous, I pressed it to my ear without even having dialed anyone yet. But who would I even call? The police? No, I can't do that. I was already in here and I wasn't supposed to be. And I don't want to put any kind of attention on myself. But I can't just call nobody. I have to tell somebody about this. Who? Who do I go to? Damn, this is actually kind of a tough decision. Who do we call? Save right there. I don't know why I quick saved. Okay. There's Reginald, who's close by. I guess because he said he'd be at the cemetery, but we don't know necessarily when he's gonna leave. It is supposedly nighttime, right? Or close to it. There's Twyla. Crowin, he's fucking far. He's either in town or he's back at the fucking cabin. Mystery number? I don't think he would answer. His answers would be just mysterious at best. I guess Twyla, since she's the closest to an investigator in the group we have, any access to? I'm unfortunately not sure what's the right call here. I guess Twyla. I mean, if it was Groven himself, he wouldn't have fucking bolted. It could be Mystery Man, but I feel like Mystery Man is so mystery that we won't notice when he's around. So I guess Twyla. I heard he called Twyla. It could have been the Blackwood Butcher that was in here. And if I don't want to go to the cops, she's the next best thing, right? I mean, if anyone could tell it was the Butcher, she'd probably be able to. I hope. Come on, Twyla, pick up already. Twyla speaking. Twyla! I needed to get over here quick. What? Why? Where even are you? The diner, by the cemetery. You have to come quick. I think the butcher was here. What? Are you serious? Don't move and don't touch anything. I'm coming right now. It felt like I waited forever for Twyla to arrive. I stood in the diner alone, just standing there. Waiting. Possibly shaking. I don't remember it that well. But I don't move from the spot I stood in. She did tell me not to touch anything after all. Fuck off. Oh. Sorry about that. Someone came in and interrupted me. And they know better to do that. So I don't know why they fucking did it. When she arrived, she didn't even give me a chance to say hi. She immediately started talking and came in holding some weird box. And I told her whatever it was, I told her whoever it was probably long gone by now, but she said that we were still looking for clues. I complied, doing whatever she asked me of me. We searched the building together, and I made sure I was always in the same room as Twyla, just in case. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything to point us to who it might have been. There were no stray hairs or torn fabrics. Twyla even dusted for fingerprints, but we could only find hers and my own. It was almost as if no one was here at all. But when we investigated my room, I noticed one of my plushies disappeared. It was one of my favorites, and I always kept it right on the shelf, next to my bed, so it couldn't have gotten lost so easily. Did they take it? That thought put my stomach in knots. To think they must have been here while I was dozing off in the other room. Oh God. I... After searching for what felt like an eternity, we just gave up. There was nothing more we could do here. I felt bad calling for Twyla's help, just to wind up with nothing. I don't think there's anywhere else we can look. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I dragged you all the way here. I thought it was at the very least, this could help your investigation, but there's nothing really here. Fine, it's not a total loss. At least remember anything about the suspect? No. I didn't really get a good look at them. It could have been anyone. Well, whatever. Whether they're the butcher or not, someone has a special interest in this place. And it's definitely worth looking into. Yeah. Definitely keeping an eye on this place. Maybe we can catch them next time they come by. How do you plan to do that? Don't worry about it. I have my ways. You probably shouldn't come back. Might mess up the investigation. Oh, alright. That's probably smart anyways. And thanks for, helping me, Twyla. Yeah, whatever. Don't come back here and mess anything up, okay? After a little longer, Twyla left, leaving me standing alone there once again. I stepped outside as she drove off and locked the doors behind me, wondering if that would be enough to stop whoever broke in from doing it again. I stayed in crowded areas for the rest of the day, hoping that being around so many people would provide me some sense of safety. The only time I was alone again that day was when I went back home that night. But I'm never truly alone then either, am I? Hello. Again. Good evening. Was that you at the diner today? What do you mean? Earlier today, I was in my diner. Or house, I guess. There was a stranger. I couldn't see their face. And they ran out as soon as they realized I was behind them. Was that you? No. I don't know why I bother asking you anything. I thought you'd give me the truth either way. Sometimes lying will be necessary. But I am telling you the truth now. If you say so. I'm not really sure what else to say. That's okay. And I prefer you don't ask questions. Why is that? You know what they say. Curiosity kills the cat. Good night, Mary. So much for getting a good night's sleep. Mary, are you still sleeping? Mary! No, I don't want to get up yet. Let me sleep. I had a long night last night. A long night? I went to bed at 8:30. I didn't sleep well. Well, your mother's making pancakes if you want any. Do they have chocolate chips? Of course, it's Sunday. Okay, I'll be down soon. I quickly got out of bed and got dressed, yawning as I descended down the stairs. Even from the top of the stairs, I could already smell the chocolate. If you don't hurry, I'm going to eat all of them. Dad! Oh, you know I'm just teasing you. Besides, your mom would kill me if I did. I got downstairs and sat at the counter beside my dad. There was a plate waiting for me, and my mother was behind me. Behind the counter, drinking her morning coffee as usual. Thank you for the breakfast, Mom. Of course, dear. So, do you have any plans today? No, not really. Aw, is Crovin busy today? I don't know. Probably? Well, we can always do something if you want. We can? Of course we can. Didn't you want to see that new movie? The horror one with the janitor? Why don't we go tonight? Are you sure? Aren't you busy? You know, when I'm never too busy for my little girl. Sounds really fun, but what about Mom? Are you really worrying about me? I'll be fine, sweetheart. Go out with your father. We can even call up Crow and see if he wants to come too. I've been really looking forward to this movie. I'm so excited now. This morning's been quite the pleasant surprise, but something feels off. Like I'm forgetting something. No, something is weird here. But what? Maybe it's because it's empty? Yeah, I mean, do we close on Sundays? I don't know if we ever close. Utensils? We don't have any. I mean, yeah, I don't have a fork right now. But there's definitely something else wrong here. You know what? I don't know. Yes, I want to go back empty. No, that's not it. It's Sunday. Well, fuck me then. What is it? Is it Mom? Mom's fine. Mom's always... Wait. Mom. Mom can't talk. Mom is mute. I knew there was something wrong. Okay, I didn't know, but like, I was like, I remembered that, like, wait, she didn't talk before. So why is she talking now? Mom's never been able to talk her whole life. I had to learn sign language as a kid to be able to communicate with her. She never, she's never, whose voice was that? That was talking to me. My mom doesn't have that voice. Doesn't have a voice. What's going on? Mary? You okay, hun? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm... I'm fine. Are you sure, dear? I can make you some tea to help you calm down if you're feeling anxious. No, I'm okay. I think I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. I hopped out of my seat and rushed my way over to the ground floor bathroom. That wasn't my mom. Was that even my dad? I was hoping that once in the bathroom, I could rinse my face off and make sense of things. But... Mom? Mom, what are you doing here? Weren't you just outside? Mom? Oh, she's dead as hell. Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. What's the matter, Mary? I thought you liked Ghost. There's a funeral today. I am happy. Is that bad? I had been planning for it. I overheard them talking about it in the cemetery when planning a spot for her. Is that bad? I really enjoy funerals. I always have. Even when... I like to see everyone gather around for their lost loved one. They're also sad. They bring flowers and sometimes little parting gifts. That's so nice, don't you think? If their spirits could talk, I bet they'd say they appreciate it. Would a ghost attend their own funeral? I would. Well, in any case, I'm excited for the one today. And I'm excited to see what they're like. Hopping off the bus that morning, I was glad to see I wasn't too late. It was a good thing I always wear black. No one's ever seemed to turn their head to me as I came near. It started to rain. They never said anything about rain today, but I thought I might. But I thought it might, and when I saw the clouds out this morning, so I came prepared and brought my umbrella. It was then that I noticed a little old lady with no umbrella, and no one was even bothering to help her keep dry. So I covered her with my umbrella. Oh, it's an umbrella. You scared me for a second. Thank you, dear. And of course. I bet she's a ghost. Pardon me if this sounds rude, but were you one of her friends? No. Oh. Well, it was my darling Miss Bella. She passed just last week. My condolences. Forgive me if this sounds rude, but what is your relationship to her? Me? Ah, yes. I'm Spella's mom. I never met you before, have I? That's okay. Lots of people haven't. I'm very sorry for your loss. How are you feeling? Feeling? It's impossible for me to feel anything but heartbroken. I truly don't believe I'll recover from this. No, don't say that. She wouldn't want you to think like that, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. These are both, well, kind of intrusive questions, but I guess we are going to ask one of them anyways. She was young, wasn't she? Oh, yes. Much too young for this. Right as things were going her way. She was going to get married in a few months. None of us thought her condition was this bad. It's been cancelled, of course. But at least she's wearing the dress now. I'm sure she looks beautiful. Oh, she was always so beautiful. My darling angel was always too beautiful. She never even got to... Oh, look at me. I'm going to start crying all over again. I promised her I wouldn't. I'm sorry. Do you think she's scared? Hmm? She's all alone now. Where's she going to go? And who will tell her how to get there? The way she is right now. Is she happy? Even if she's not. I don't know if either of these answers are good ones. I guess she's not alone. How can you say she's alone when everyone else is here beside her? I know she can't really say much about it, but I'm sure she's happy to have all her friends and family by her side. All the people here. She went a lot to them, didn't she? That's why they're all here to keep her company. I know lots of people like to think that you're alone when you die. But I think it's hard to consider all these things being alone, you know? She's not alone when we're all here. Yes, I suppose that's true. We're all together here, aren't we? Then, I suppose I'm glad she isn't alone. Yes, me too. I'm sorry if I've upset you by talking about her so much, miss. It is a funeral after all. I should behave more respectfully. No, it's quite alright. Talking about it has actually helped a little bit. I feel a bit better hearing your thoughts. Is that so? I'm glad then. Yes, thank you. Why, I'm so sorry. I didn't even catch your name. It's alright. My name is Mary. Mary? Mary. Ah, hold on a moment. Do you mean to say you're a cemetery Mary? I see. My reputation precedes me. Yes, that's me. I see. Thank you, Mary. If Spalla was here, I'm sure she'd want to thank you too. She is here. But hearing it from you means enough already. Thank you as well. Wasn't that pleasant? It was a lovely funeral. The coffin was lowered, and soon enough, the rain stopped. I watched everyone say their goodbyes to her and to each other, and then steadily, they left. Soon, it was just me and the old lady. Well, the lady. I shouldn't say old lady. That's a little mean. I'd have felt bad if I overstayed my welcome. I didn't want to outlast her at her own daughter's funeral, so I quietly said my goodbyes and left. But to my surprise, someone was there waiting for me on the sidewalk. Twyla? What are you doing here? I saw you from behind the fence. You were at the funeral. Did another person die already? No. Well, yes, but not someone I know. Okay, then. Anyways, I'm glad I ran into you here. I was actually thinking of calling you, but you're already here, so... Oh? Why? You need something? Yeah, there was something I wanted to check out, but you might be able to help me with it. Oh, sure, I'll help. Is it still about the, you know, butcher and stuff? Of course it is. What else would it be about? Ah, alright. Ah, right. Sorry, that was silly of me to ask. I'm not sure how much I can be of help, but I'll try. And you don't need to do much. Just need to stand here and ask for something. That won't be a problem for you, will it? I don't see how it would be. It seems easy enough to me. So where are we going? Follow me. It's only a few blocks down from here. I followed Twilight down the sidewalk. We didn't really talk as we walked, but I enjoyed her company nonetheless. The sky remained cloudy, and the sidewalk was full of puddles we tried to avoid, until eventually we ended up where Twilight planned to be today. It was a bookstore. One I sometimes passed by, but never really bothered to look inside. It didn't seem as cozy or comforting as the library. The library. A bookstore? Well, if you needed books, why didn't we just go to the library? It's much bigger and... Hey, can you, shut up? Huh? What did I tell you earlier? Oh, right. Just need me to stand and ask for something, right? That's it. Besides, we're not here for books. We're not? No. But you don't need to worry about why we're here. Just need you to do this for me. What are we doing again? Let's just say I'm not allowed in this bookstore anymore. I mean, I'm planning on fixing that problem eventually. But I need to do this now. And that's where you come in. You're going into... You're gonna go in there and talk to the man at the desk. I need you to get him to look in the back somehow. Then once he does, signal to me out here. I'll get what I need and then get out. Got it? You're going to steal from them? Twilight, I don't know. I don't feel right about this. Harry, it's for the investigation. Think I'd steal something for the fun of it? Do you want to just keep... Do you want people to keep dying left and right? I mean, no, of course not. But... Well, sometimes... You have to do bad things to be the good guy. But... Talking about people's lives here. You really want to risk someone's life because you didn't want to lie for a few minutes? I think it's more than just about lying. I don't know. Would it really have that much of an impact? I mean, can I at least know what you're taking? Don't just stare at me. Okay, fine. I'll do it. There you go. I'll get in there and distract them. Alright. I stepped into the store at Twyla's command. I already felt guilty before it even happened. But if this was somehow helping someone, then it was worth doing, alright? As I entered, I noticed a man behind the desk. The back. Just book him. He was old and pretty scruffy. I was surprised he was even able to see out of all that hair, out of all the hair that was covering his eyes. He seemed pretty big. And on top of it, he had a hook for a hand. He certainly gave quite the first impression without even having said anything. He didn't turn to me when I entered. Could he even see me, actually? Is this who Twilight was worried about getting past? And I stepped up to the counter. Uh, um, sir? Hmm? What do you want? Oh, what kind of books are here? All kinds. What, you thinking we just forgetting an entire genre? Oh no, I've never been in this store before, so... I didn't know, you know? Uh... Is there something I can help you with, ma'am? Oh, right. Uh... it's like, how do we distract this man? How do we get him to go to the back? I don't know how to do that. I don't think I have the skills necessary. I mean, I guess we can be like, we're looking for a very specific kind of book, but we don't even know what kind of books they have here, so. Hmm. Maybe I should like save again. I feel like that'd be a good idea. She could just be like, I just wanted to say hi. Do you sell anything other than books here? What do you mean? Well, like, I don't know, sometimes stores sell other things too. Like DVDs or board games or art kits or stuff. Do you want one of those things? I mean, I don't know. Do you have them? And I can check in the back for you if you'd like. Please do. Oh, that would be so kind. Thank you. No problemo. Oh, that was easy. After he left in the back room, I signaled to Twyla that she could sneak in. Except Twyla didn't tell me what what to signal with, so I kind of just flailed my arms and hands a bit until she noticed me. I felt really bad about it, going behind that man's back like that. But if doing this meant catching someone dangerous, then Twyla was in and out a lot quicker than I expected. I really hope that there are no cameras in this building, otherwise, oof. If they see us just flailing around like that, they're gonna know, he's gonna know. And if she knew exactly where she was looking, as if she knew exactly where she was looking, I would have followed her. But I was waiting for the man to come back. I wondered if she still needed me or if she went on her way after leaving. But before I can think about it too much, he came back. He said he didn't have anything like what I was looking for, but he did give me something. How to talk to Ghost. He said it looked like something I'd like. He even gave it to me for free of charge. It was just taking up space, he said. Probably cost like less than 30 cents to make, he said. I wished him a good day and then I was on my way. To my surprise, Twyla was still waiting for me once I got out of the bookstore. Oh, Twyla. You're still here? Yeah, I'm still here. What fucking took you so long? Oh, well, he gave me a book and I... Hey, wait. Can I ask what you took from him now? Does it matter? I mean, well, kinda. He was really nice to me. It's not as if he told me much about why we did it. Hmm, fair enough. Fine, I'll show you. What? Only if you get into my car with me. Huh? Well, since you're supposed to be helping me and all, I wanted to bring you into my house for interrogation, if you will. Interrogation? Now, Twyla, you're getting a little too serious with this. The main reason I asked to help is because your family members were involved in a mysterious death. I wanted to ask you some questions about them and take down some notes. But not here. I don't even like to talk about this out loud. So I'll call up a car to come pick us up. I'm coming with me, right? I mean, sure. Don't really have any other plans. Yeah, I figured. Okay, I guess we're going in the car with her. Twilight called up a car to come pick us up. Is this one of those taxi service things? Hmm? No. I'm just really rich. Oh. Alright. Shortly enough, a car rolled by to come pick us up. At least she's straightforward about it. It's like, nah, I'm just rich. It's like, oh, okay. The driver came out and held the door open for Twilight and I. She crawled into the back seat and I followed suit. Buckling into the car seat, it felt incredibly strange. Korovin's family always had a bit of money themselves, but never like this. Anyways, you want to see what I took, right? Yes, please. Twyla reached around and presented me with a wooden box. It wasn't until she opened it that I felt alarmed. The fucking knife? What the hell? A knife? Stole a knife from him? How did he even know he had this? That's not important, she said, closing the box and putting it back down. Is this connected to why he doesn't let you into his store anymore? No, but again, that's not important. He was using that to, hmm? Well, I can't say for sure, but it's anyone's guess. Don't you feel safer that he doesn't have it on him? I, I don't know. I still don't like that we stole from him. Listen, we did the right thing. Trust me. Uh, give it back to him after all this is through, and he's proven innocent, okay? What if he notices it's gone, and thinks took it? Well then, probably a good idea you don't go back there. When we sat in silence the rest of the car ride, we sat in silence for the rest of the car ride. I mean, I don't know how. I don't think that would be necessarily the most logical thing. I think he'd think you'd be involved, but he was there, he saw you, and you didn't have a bag or anything, so it's not like he could necessarily think that you took it. Then I looked at Twyla. It was like she was staring off, very intently at nothing at all. She looked like she was going over different ideas in her head, deep in thought, and I didn't want to disrupt her process or anything. Twilight just told me she was rich. So rich that she had a chauffeur to drive her wherever she needed to be. But despite that, I didn't expect her to be this rich. We had to pass through a gate to even get in. She even had a fountain in the front. Oh my goodness, Twyla. You really live like this? Yeah, I told you I was rich, didn't I? We got out of the car together, and the chauffeur drove off slowly. As soon as I exited, my nose was bombarded with the smell of freshly cut grass and fragrant flowers that adorned the front of the house. Even though it had been a rainy day today, nothing smelled like dampness of rain or even seemed overly affected by it. It felt like I had just stepped into an entirely new planet. By the way, I live with my uncle. I'm pretty sure he's home right now. You might have to say hi to him. Oh, that's fine. I mean, why wouldn't it be fine? I'm just warning you because he can be kinda sleazy. Oh? Hardly a good attitude. And often flirts with girls he doesn't know. Oh, I see. Yeah, but now that I think about it, it's usually only for pretty girls, so you should be fine. I see. Just casually call us ugly. I mean, thanks for warning us, I guess. We walked up the staircase in front, and Twilight unlocked the double doors. As we got inside, it appeared as if her uncle was leaving. Ah, Twyla, home already? Yeah, I needed to bring someone over for some business. Ah, I see. Well, I was just about to head out myself. But it'd be rude of me to not introduce myself, of course. I'm Denzin. And what would your name be, little lady? Oh, my name is Mary. It's nice to meet you, sir. A pleasure to meet you as well. Anyways, I ought to take my leave now. I'll be running late if I stay any longer. Oh ho 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 ho. I'll leave you little ladies to your business, and perhaps I'll see you again soon. After that, he was gone. Your uncle looks like a cartoon supervillain. Yeah, I know. He kinda fucking does, though. Oh, a man's got a style and he's sticking to it. He looks idiotic. Embarrassing being related to him. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far. Come on, I didn't bring you here to talk about my uncle. Let's go. And Twyla led me through her house. It was pretty big on the inside and very nicely decorated. To think that she just lived here felt wild. I didn't have to have... I didn't get to have too good of a look at her home, though. Twyla led me into a room that looked like a den, almost. Or maybe some kind of strange room. Compared to the rest of the house, it seemed a bit messy. As if the room itself belonged to a completely different house. There were instruments near the walls, and small tables with playing cards sprawled across them. There were lots of cabinets and drawers, but I had no idea what they might be holding. It was strange, but somewhat cozy as well. Like some sort of tucked away activity room. Twyla led me to one of the tables and told me to take a seat while she readied herself. I sat and waited for her to be ready as she pulled out a laptop as well as a notepad and some other things. She sat across from me and opened her laptop, but once she had everything prepared, the entire aura of the room felt different. And it felt compressed, full of pressure. Like this really was some sort of interrogation. Like I was somehow in trouble. I want to ask you a few questions, Mary. I want to know about your aunt and uncle that died. Be honest and tell me the details. Okay? What should I do? I said I would help Twyla, but do you really want to tell her the truth of everything that's happened? I know she's doing it for a good cause, but she is still she is still a stranger to me. I hardly know anything about her. But if I lie, she be able to tell? Would it ruin the investigation? If I lie, what about what really happened? Am I offering the butcher another chance to get away? Would I share blame if someone dies because I didn't tell the truth? But I also remembered what Crowan told me about Twyla. He told me to stay away from her, and that I shouldn't be talking to her. Ask away whenever you're ready. Alright then. To start, how old were your aunt and uncle? I mean, this is an innocent ass question. So, um, well, I don't always remember their exact dates or ages, though I don't think they were the same age. And it was kind of obvious too. My, uh, my uncle was kinda old and it was beginning to show on his face. But my aunt looked pretty good for her age. Sometimes she even looked younger than my mom, if I'm being honest. But don't tell my mom I said that. Right, next question, I guess? Right. So, were you ever given a reason to suspect they might be dying soon? Huh? How do you mean? Well, before they died, were you ever worried that they would die soon? Uh, this is genuinely stuff even I, the player, don't fucking know. Like, was she worried about it? It's possible. I mean, her parents had just, like, disappeared. So, no, I never would have thought that. They were both so healthy and full of life. They just, I don't know, felt like the kind of people I would know forever. And I see. And of course, that brings me to ask, how did they die? It's like, I don't know, girl. Didn't we just say we don't know? They went out together one night. I don't know where or why, but I just thought it was some sort of date night. They were supposed to meet up with a friend or two. But we got a call. And they were just gone. Gone? Well, like, dead, you know? But how did they die? I don't know. I wasn't allowed to see them. And no one spoke much about it in front of me, so I don't know much of the details either. It wasn't in the news or anything big. I don't think so. I don't know. All I know was that my uncle had blood on his clothes, maybe some rips and tears. And no one is really sure how my aunt died, I don't think. I see. Well, I think that's all I need. Twilight typed some final words before closing her laptop and getting up from her chair. That's it? We're done? Yes, that's all I need right now. Thank you for agreeing to come to talk to me. It was a bit taken aback by how short it took, but we traveled all the way to Twilight's house just to talk for a short while. She didn't even ask me for their names or anything. I don't even know what sort of information she really got out of it. I doubted I was being overly helpful. So what do we do now? Well, I'll be continuing my own research, but you can go home for now. Really? That's all you needed me for? Mm-hmm. It's not quite what I was expecting to hear, but it certainly helps me a lot. Really? Yeah. It helps give me more insight on some things that have been happening lately. But that's all I need from you. Right now, at least. As I said, you can go home now. You sure? I mean, you came all this way. I feel like I hardly did anything. More than enough, Mary. Please leave. Focus on the research I'm collecting, and the last thing I need is a headache. I understand. I'll text my driver to pick you up out front. Your address so I can send it to him too. Oh, that won't be necessary. Hmm? We can just, he can just, drop me off drop me off at the cemetery. Why? Just 'cause. I just, don't feel like going home right now. Alright then. After saying goodbye, front I went out front to the car that would drive me back to the cemetery. It was a bit of a quiet and awkward ride, but I arrived there safely, so I can't complain. It had gotten it had gotten later than I thought, however. I didn't realize how fast the time flew by. There wasn't much else for me to do with the day at this point. It wasn't long before I decided to just take the bus back home again, and nothing of note really happened after that except, well, you're here? You're here? Here. Sorry. Just had to. That here was a little weird. Need to drink some water again. Hello? Yes, I'm here. Is there a problem? You mean, other than the ones you've caused for me? I apologize. You say that, but nothing's changed. I'm doing all I can to keep you happy. You already know what would make me happy, though. And that is... Either answer means nothing, really. We've gone over this, haven't we? I'm sorry, Mary. But you already know how I feel and what I'll share with you. I'm keeping up communication with you because it's what you wish. But I won't divulge any information about your parents or who I am. So please, if you must ask questions, no, I won't answer anything like this for you. You'll find out in time, so please be patient with me. Do you understand? I understand. Alright then. Things were quiet for a bit after that. I wondered if they were done texting me. But to my surprise, I got a text a few moments later. I expected it to be them, but instead it was, "Hi, are you awake right now?" Twyla? What could she want so late? Yes, I'm awake. Why do you ask? You don't have any plans tomorrow, do you? Other than standing around the cemetery all day? Well, when you put it like that. No, I'm not busy. Oh, good, then we can do this sooner rather than later. I want you to head somewhere with me tomorrow. Where? You'll find out when we get there. Can't I know? No. Why not? Because I don't want you refusing to come with me. You think I'd refuse to help you now? You think I'd refuse to help you? I don't know. You seem kind of sensitive, that's all. Trust me, it's not that bad. You don't even have to know a lot. Remember when you were a distraction for me earlier today? Yeah? Well, you're just going to be doing that again, but some different place. Oh. See? See what? You're already chickening out. I am not. So you'll help me then? In case you forgot, this is for the sake of capturing a murderer, you know? I didn't forget. Now come with. Just as long as you don't steal anything this time. I shouldn't need to. At least not anything important. I'll see you tomorrow then. What's your address? I'll come pick you up. Oh, well. I'll be by the cemetery. Really? I'm planning to go pretty early. Yes, I'll be there. I'm not really at home that often, so... Besides, it'll be easier for you to drive to, I'm sure. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. Can you meet me by the cemetery at 7:30? Oh, that early? The early bird gets a worm, after all. That's not a problem for you, is it? Oh, no, it's fine. I'll be there. Alright, good. I guess I better go to bed then. Twilight didn't respond after that message. Seeing how early I would have to get up the next day, I tucked myself into the covers and tried to rush myself to sleep. It wasn't early, especially when I didn't know where Twilight would be taking me. But eventually, I was able to fall asleep. It was still somewhat dark out when I woke up the next morning. I could hear Groven snoring in his bed as I brushed my hair and dressed for the day. Honestly, I wasn't even sure when the bus would be coming, as I never really took the bus this early before. But I caught one, and was waiting at the cemetery gates when Twyla's car pulled up. Once again, she had a chauffeur taking us. I tried not to question it. After all, she's probably used to getting around like this. Once I was in the car with her, we were off driving, I felt it appropriate to ask her again where we were going. And she answered. A retirement home? Yes. It is supposed to help us catch the busher. That's what I'm hoping anyways. If I may ask, why there? Well, one reason is a murderer is being suspected. Wait, well, one reason a murderer is being suspected is because of the spike in deaths lately. I know there's rumors people have been spreading about them being violent, but after doing research on all the recent deaths we've had, I've noticed a majority of them were above 65 years old. People in that age group have been dying a lot more in this area. Have been dying the most in this area. What? Well, I mean, isn't that a bit expected? For older or elderly people to be dying? Exactly. Hmm? Don't... I don't think I catch your drift. Harry, a serial killer who, to avoid the risk of getting caught, didn't want to be known at all. Who would you kill? I don't know. Well, someone who's already expected to die, of course. Even if an autopsy otherwise, most people would still assume they died of old age, or a heart attack, or some sickness, or some other age-related issue. Maybe a few people would be suspicious, and spread rumors about you, but a majority would think that there's nothing unusual about an old person dying. I never thought about it like that. So we're just going there to, like, look for clues? Evidence? Something like that. How can you be so certain about this? What if we don't find anything, or what if we get in trouble? It'll be fine. Like, this place is the most high security place in the world. I'm sure all the nurses will be worried about the geezers to pay attention to whatever we'll be doing now anyways. Especially with you distracting them. No, right. I suppose I'd say I would do that, didn't I? You did. So don't let me down, okay? I'll try not to. Oh boy. A nursing home. But that wouldn't match up with the fact that, like, our parents got, kidnapped, and the fact that, Korovin's parents were murked somehow. And the fact that, if her suspicions about the police trying to keep this on the down low is right, then that just brings a whole new layer of problems along with it. Because why the hell would they be trying to keep it on the down low? You know? The sun seemed to illuminate the building. To illuminate the front of the building perfectly as we drove up. Cypress Side. I've heard of this place before, and I've seen job ads for it. They were looking for nurses and other stuff. Twilight told the driver to return in about 2 hours or so before stepping out of the car. I followed her. The air smelled fresh and clean as we headed towards the welcoming front door. It must have been all the flowers planted outside. We stepped through the entryway. As we stepped through the entranceway, my senses were bombarded with an extremely sanitized smell. The lights felt bright, and I noticed that no windows had their curtains drawn. It felt extremely clean and open in here, and there was the faint sound of what I can only describe as old people music playing in the other room. Surprisingly, there was no one at the front counter. Twyla seemed to notice this as well. Oh, good. No one to interrogate us about why we're here. This already became 10 times easier. In fact, this is a good place to start. How do you mean? What else would I mean, Mary? I'm going to look through the computer. Oh, Twilight, please don't. Mary, please. We'll make a bigger deal out of this than it is. I'm not stealing anything, and it's for the greater good, right? Stop making me go over this. Alright, but only because it's for the greater good. Good. While I get started, go out there and distract them. But how? I don't know. It's your job. Ask the nurses where things are. Pretend you're entertainment. Even fake a medical emergency, I don't care. Just make sure no one comes over here. And if you spot anyone coming over here, stop them. Or alert me, so I can get out. How should I alert you? I don't know, shout something like, "Look, a deer," and point at the nearest window. I'll know what it means when I hear it. Alright, that makes sense. Good, now get out of here. Get on out there. We don't want to waste any time. Right. As instructed, I walked further in to what appeared to be a common room. There were some elderly people there, as well as around 3 or 4 nurses to watch them. I collected a few odd glances as I entered, but it was important that I did not look suspicious. Though when it comes to me, I just try to smile and look inviting. But being a distraction proved more difficult than I thought it would be. Talking to people didn't seem like the right way to go about it. I don't even know what I would have said. I didn't want to say the wrong thing and come off as even more suspicious, though I'm sure I looked nervous enough as is. I kept looking over to Twyla. She was always steady at work, it seems. I wonder what she was even looking for. She clearly knew what she was doing, but maybe she thought I wouldn't understand it or something. Or maybe she was scared I wouldn't agree to doing this if I knew. While I tried to appear distracting and kept out a lookout, I also tried to look through some drawers or bookshelves when people's eyes weren't on me. It felt dirty and wrong, even if it was a common area. I just didn't like snooping and all. But it's not like it matters, I guess, because I didn't find anything important. But at one point I noticed a nurse heading to the front desk. I was about to shout, though. I was about to shout our whole deer plan, but it's a good thing I turned to check before I yelled, because when I looked back over, Twyla was gone. That's strange. Where'd she go? Did she just get up and head somewhere else without telling me? She wouldn't leave the building, right? Or did she already get caught because I wasn't checking enough? Well, either way, there was no use to me being in the common room anymore. I made my way out and went to look for her. Of course, she was snooping around. Of course, if she was snooping around, I couldn't just out and call her name. so I tried to be as quiet as I looked. And so I tried to be quiet as I looked, and made sure to keep a lookout for anything strange as I did. And I did actually happen across something strange. There was a trail of something on the floor, and I noticed it as I looked down. It was like a stain spread across the floor. It wasn't red, so I don't think it was blood or anything. If I bent down really close, it even smelled vaguely of fruit, if that made sense. It was something familiar, I guess, and yet it seemed unfamiliar too. I wouldn't exactly pin it what it was. Something about it just felt off. I mean, girl, this could literally be anything from, like, some cleaning supplies that spilled over, or someone vomited. Perhaps somebody dropped their fucking fruit cup, you know? This is a nursing home. They could have just dropped their fruit cup. If I was old as hell, I'd drop my fruit cup too. You know, some people got fucking arthritis or something. This is like the weirdest thing to be suspicious about, in my opinion. The most random thing. Like, this isn't the type of stain you're supposed to find here. All I knew is what it looked like, and that it formed a trail. Naturally, I started to follow it, but I didn't get very far. Excuse me, miss? Before I heard a woman's Before I heard a woman's voice speaking to me harshly, I looked up to see a nurse in front of me. She did not look happy. Hello there. What are you doing? Huh? What do you mean? Are you looking for something? Well, not particularly. I noticed you in the common room earlier, and now you're looking around the halls. What is you here for? Because it doesn't seem like you came to visit anyone. Oh, no, I did. I was surprised you weren't in the common room, so I went to look for the room. But, I couldn't remember the number. Really now. Who was it you came to visit then? Oh, my grandpa. I'm here to visit my grandfather. You can't mistake him, he looks a lot like me. Well, we've got red hair. We've got the red hair and, glasses. I don't have glasses, but he does. And, he's pretty old, and, what's his name? His name? Oh, shoot. We're in trouble now. Oh, shoot, oh, shoot, oh, shoot. What am I supposed to say? If I say the wrong thing, I'm doomed. And I felt absolutely cornered now, but it was then that I noticed. Twyla. She's just like, what the hell? She's like, girl, how did you get in trouble? She was all the way at the end of the hall, right past the nurse in front of me. She seemed to have spotted me as I was looking for her. It looked as if she was crossing into some other room, but I guess she noticed she noticed it looked like I was in trouble. Should I call her over? Maybe she can help me. She looked through the computer after all. She could give the nurse the name she's looking for, but what should I do? Oh god, decisions. It's like, what's the choice? Oh man. Okay, so if I choose to call her over, like she said, she could have a name. Twyla does seem the type to be able to do. I don't know. I mean, she seems hella calm, except when she's looking at us and being like, "Oh shit." But at the same time, we don't have a name. I mean, I mean, I mean. I don't know. Would she have her own grandparents be here? Because she is rich. So, I don't know. Actually, before I make any decision, I have to use the restroom real quick. I'll I'll think about it, maybe. Or we can just flip a coin and hope for the best. So I'll be right back. My apologies, that took a little longer than I thought. I was on my way back when I was tasked with a little side quest to perform that I could not skip. So yes, okay. I'm going to say that in terms of a decision here, the best one to make would honestly be to just continue this on our own, like, handle the situation without her. Because we've already given the nurse a bunch of information. We're like, oh, I'm here to visit my grandpa, and he looks like this. And it's like, Twilight doesn't know that, so if she gives the wrong name, we're cooked. I decided I couldn't call Twyla over, since she might be onto something or trying to remain hidden. I'd mess everything up for her if I made her presence known. I tried to signal with my eyes to Twyla. I even nodded my head a bit too, to show she should leave and that was okay on my own. That I was okay on my own. She seems to have gotten the message and hurried out of here. And now, of course, I was stuck here. What are you doing? Oh, sorry. I've got this twitching issue. Runs in the family. Oh, wait. You're Wraithward's kid? Ed Wraithward? Yes, that's my granddad. Yeah, he mentioned something about his grandchild coming to visit soon. Though I'll warn you, his opinion of you isn't very high. Oh? I'll take you to his room. Follow me. I was able to get off easier than I thought. I followed her to the stranger's room. She dropped me off and then left on her way. Well, I guess I'm stuck here. See? Everything worked out. If she sees me looking through the halls again, no doubt she'd be suspicious. I should stay here for a while. I'm sure Twyla will message me if she needs me or if it's time to go anyways. I pulled out a stool and sat across from the old man in front of me. And I guess I ought to introduce myself. Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Ed? Who's there? Hello, Ed. It's very nice to meet you. I hope this isn't too awkward. Sorry, let me turn my hearing aid up. Blind as a bat and already losing my hearing too. Alright, now, come again? Who is this? I ain't had a visitor in forever. We don't know each other. No? I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't really recognize you from anywhere. I'm sure you don't recognize me. Unless you also like cemeteries? Can't say I do. But with eyes like mine, can't say I recognize anyone anymore. Oh ho ho. I'm Mary. I don't think you heard me say it earlier, but it's very nice to meet you. Ed, and a pleasure to meet you too. I'm sorry, I don't really know what to talk about. Well, for starters, why don't you tell me why you're here? Seems a little suspicious to get a visitor I don't know. I don't know if I should. Why is that? You're not up to anything bad, are you? Oh no, not at all. In fact, I'm here for a good reason. I'm with a friend too. Well, she's not with me now, but she saw me getting in trouble with a nurse, but I made sure she didn't get in trouble as well. Though I guess I was kind of able to get myself out of trouble too, so it's okay. Ha! The nurses are a bunch of hard asses. Oh my. What? It's true! Acting like they gotta baby us all the time. Let me tell you, just cause I'm wearing diapers doesn't mean I'm a baby. Just because I'm wearing diapers don't mean I'm a baby. Haha, I see. Are they really so annoying? Oh, you don't know it. It's like, do you know it? Don't get me wrong. There's a few sweethearts, but wowee, some of the folks need to take a... What's it called? Chill pill? Yeah, one of those. I'm sure they just want to make sure you're okay. Yeah, I get it. I'm sure it ain't an easy job. But it's a bit hard to be around them acting so strictly all the time. Even when you don't need them to be. How do you mean? Well, they ain't always the nicest company, that's all. Do you not enjoy their company? Well, it isn't awful, but I'd rather much hang out around friends and family and people of the like. Well, why can't you? They're dead. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Are you okay? Happens to all of us. None of my friends seem to have lasted as long as I did. And your family? Well, they ain't dead. Most of them ain't. But they might as well be. Why do you say that? Well, they never come to visit me. Only showed up to visit at my old home when my wife died. None of them wanted to take care of me, because who would, right? Stuck me in here fastest chance they got. Sorry. That's a tad that's a tad rude of me. I shouldn't be talking like that. Some of them actually called to say they'd visit soon. So, I'm sorry. That's really sad. Ah, pooh-hee, don't we worry about that. I guess it's just expected when you're old. People see you less and less the older you get. I know this is sudden, but you mentioned your wife died. May I ask you some things about your wife? Is that alright? Please? Sure. It's like, it's just like, please, pretty please. He's just like out of pity, like, okay. Poor old man. I kind of feel bad. I'm not even gonna lie. His ass is just, his ass is just involved in this like random little escapade we got into. I don't really even know if asking the why of it is important. Did I save? Yes, I did. Wait, did I? I'm sorry, I have to like triple check. Okay, there we go. I guess, how'd she die, I guess? How did she die? You know, it was so long ago. I don't even remember. Long ago? I see. She passed peacefully, at least? I'm sorry, that was too harsh. It's like, was that too brash? I hope it was peaceful. She deserved only the best, the sweetheart she was. I hope. If they're not visiting me, they better be visiting her. Who? Wife? Who else? Being in my state, I can't visit her. So those children of mine better be paying their respect. And giving her the company I can't. Actually, this may sound very strange, but I think I've met her before. Hmm? Well, I live very close to a cemetery and, I like to make sure that every person has at least a flower. Your last name. It seems familiar to me. And I think I've met her before. So I hope I can reassure you that she hasn't been forgotten. Is that so? Really do that? For someone you don't even know? Well, yes. I believe that people always deserve respect, even after passing. And if you feel she's not getting enough, well, I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy when I'm able to provide. And yeah, I can visit you too. Like here. You said your family doesn't visit you enough, right? Well, I'm sure I can make some time to visit you here. And maybe I'll be able to take you to visit your wife too. I'm sorry, I just got a bit weird there, didn't I? I'd like that. You would? Really? I'm so glad then. Before I could say much else, a nurse popped in to check on us. Ooh, hello, hello, hello. How's everything going on in here? Everyone doing okay? Oh yes, thank you. Glad to hear it. Well, I've come to bring you your special lunch, Ed. Lunchtime already? I see, thank you. The nurse pulled out one of those small folding tables and placed down a tray of food for Ed. Ed slipped a spoonful of soup and coughed. I immediately began to worry he was choking, but then... Oh, jeez. What's happening? Ed? Oh, Ed is not okay. The hell was in there? Oh dear, oh my. Don't worry, this will be fine. I just need to call for for some help, that's all. And I saw the nurse reach out and pull out what looked like a walkie-talkie. She scrambled to get it working as she voiced that there was an emergency. Before I knew it, nurses started to flood the room as I was pushed out by them. I tried to look over to see what was happening, but it was no use. There were too many of them, and I was just also too short to see past. I felt a tight feeling in my throat and as I nervously fiddled my hands together. Okay, so somebody's clearly putting something in the food here that's not too good for people. I mean, to make them spontaneously just start coughing up blood is a bit much, huh? And I don't know what happened. I tried to listen in, but with all the nurses talking and panicking at once, it was hard. I think I heard something about an ambulance, but I couldn't be sure. I wasn't sure what to do next, but then... Twyla, there you are. Hey, what's going on in there? The man! The guy! Use your words, Mary. The guy in there, he started choking and now a bunch of nurses are in there trying to fix it. I think I heard one of them call for an ambulance. Really? That's a lucky break for us then. Uh-huh. Well, if they're all in there together, we can snoop even further without getting caught. What? Twyla! He's having an emergency. Yeah, and? What if it's the work of the butcher? Think about it. Maybe this is because the butcher really did decide to strike here today. Maybe they're still around. And maybe we can catch them or find something they left behind. Twyla, please. Come on, who knows how much time we have? You may let this opportunity go to waste, but I won't. If you're not going to look with me and then wait outside until I'm done. I'm looking whether you like it or not. Twyla, no. Well, Twyla's got her priorities, I suppose. I had no choice. I had to follow Twyla. I didn't want her doing something even worse. Luckily, most of the doors she tried to get in were locked anyways. But then she tried getting into the kitchen. Before she could step inside, I reached out and tried to pull her back. She was insistent on getting in. Twyla, stop! Let go, Mary, I need to look. I saw something in here earlier. But I couldn't get a close enough look until now. So get off before you really get on my nerves. You said you wouldn't be like this. Twyla, this is going way too far. It's not like we're real police or detectives or something. We're trespassers, Twy. We don't know how long everyone will be gone for. If someone comes back and sees us in here, we can get in big trouble. Please! It's not worth it. You're right. Fine then. Let's go. Thankfully, she was able to convince her. I let go of Twyla, and we started back down the hall. Though from the corner of my eye, I swear I saw her rush in really quick. But then I turned around, she was right behind me. So I want to believe she didn't do anything underhanded. Twyla took out her phone and made sure her chauffeur was on his way. I hadn't even realized it had already gotten near the time we planned to leave. We stepped out of the building and into the soft sunshine. It felt so strange to have everything seemed so peaceful out here as compared to the chaos going on inside. Worry still swelled in my chest, and I assured myself they had everything under control as we sat on the curb and waited for our ride. We didn't say much, and I was fine with that. And before I knew it, our ride showed up and we crawled into the back seat. As we drove off, I noticed the ambulance sirens blaring pull into the front of the home. My heart sank once again. During the ride, I looked over to Twyla. She seemed to be texting like crazy on her phone. She seemed frustrated. It was probably my fault, so I tried to make sure I was still on her good side. Twyla, are you mad at me? I'm sorry. I don't think I'm cut out for this as you'd like me to be. It's fine. I'm not upset. You're sure? Yes. I collected a lot of information from there. I'll have a lot to go over when I analyze my findings later. Oh, I'm glad then. The rest of the ride was mostly quiet until she asked where I wanted to be dropped off. As my go-to, I told her to let me off at the cemetery. She called me a weirdo, but dropped me off there anyways. The rest of my day was pretty uneventful after that. But I'm really, truly thankful for that. I don't know what I would have done had something else awful happened. I went home at my usual time and carried on as normal. We just saw a man basically die today, and I'm a little worried for her, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that happening at that moment, a little weird, a little unusual to say the least. Maybe Twyla is right about the whole murdering of old people. Still would not line up with the other stuff, like, the murder of Crowell's, or Croven, not Crowell, Croven's parents and whatnot. If they were murdered, which I assume they were. Maybe it was like a wild animal attack or something. Where were you today? Hmm? You're not already here, are you? Why do you think I am? Because something bad happened today. Oh? And what was that? I don't know if I should tell you. Then how would I know what you're talking about? I got no clue whether to tell this motherfucker anything. Because on one hand, it doesn't matter. On the other, it doesn't matter. He's not telling me nothing. I don't gotta tell him nothing. I'm sorry, I just can't tell you. I can't be trustworthy of you right now. I understand. By any means, I hope you may feel better about what happened soon. Try not to think about it too much. And get a good night's sleep. I always try to. Good night, Mary. Mary is not having a good night. She's having anything but a good night. It had been a few days since I walked since I talked to Twyla. Well, I mean, I had been talking to her, but she isn't the easiest to hold a conversation with. Unless she wants to talk about the butcher, there's really nothing we have to talk about. The things regarding it have been pretty quiet lately. Well, on my end at least. And I don't know what Twyla's doing, or if she's found anything. I feel like she doesn't really trust me. But, well, that's fair. We don't really know each other too well. But maybe she'll start to trust me more. she'll just. Damn, I can't read for shit, man. But maybe she'll start to trust me more the more we work together. There we go. Sentence got out of my mouth properly. And that's how friendships work, right? I wouldn't be too sure about calling this a friendship, to be honest. Anyways, I'm spending today at home, like I've been. Going out is nice, but I need a little break every once in a while too. Not Croven though, apparently. He always leaves the house, even if it's not a nice day. He stays out all day too, so it can get pretty lonely when he's not around. But it's not so bad. I've been able to keep myself pretty entertained. I started reading the book that the old bookstore owner had given me. When I saw the title How to Talk to Ghosts, I figured it was, well, figurative. And I thought it would be some spooky story with a clever title, but to my surprise, it is written as a more of an instructional guide. It's a very interesting read, and the and I'm curious about as to how they got all of this information anyways. As previously mentioned, hmm, as previously mentioned, ghosts exist on a different plane of existence. That much is obvious. That they can communicate with us despite their beings existing on a separate layer from ours. Yeah. We see them time and time again. We see time and time again their attempts to reach us. Perhaps it's because they are angry. Perhaps it's because they are lonely. Also, does each ghost have their own what? Does each ghost exist on their own? Or do spirits share a realm? Okay, I fucking misclick. Does each ghost exist on their own or a realm with each other? Expanding and everlasting. Jesus. Okay, kinda glitched out the sound there. Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Or is there only purgatory, stretching for miles can comprehend? There are questions I cannot answer. These are questions I cannot answer yet. I cannot yet answer. For if I could, I wouldn't be here writing this right now, would I? There are questions I have been able to answer. Those can make contact with us. I often wonder, could we contact them? Did we contact them? Sure, you heard the psychics and mediums and whatnot, but that is only half of what I'm talking about. Mike not picking up what I'm saying correctly. It's getting a little frustrating. Come on. Being born with the innate ability is a factor, of course, but I wanted to delve deeper than that. Despite, despite where they may exist, they can clearly affect things in our realm. They can reach us, and like one-way glass, I know they can see us. But what if we could see them? Is it not enough to hear them? It is not enough to hear them. I wanted to see them, to travel to where they were. I believe that when you die, perhaps your soul can become unrestricted. What if we can only accomplish the opposite? What if living is what if living what if a living being had the ability to unrestrict itself before death? Perhaps that sounds like crazy talk. Oh, my phone is ringing. Read you can read what was written out. Okay. So the author apparently has found it successful to communicate with the ghosts. Who knows? Maybe uh this will come up later. I feel like my microphone's not picking up things correctly. My words. I don't know why. Hello? Hi. Oh, hi, Twyla. Did you need something? No? Well, kind of. Remember when we went to the Cypress side the other day? Yeah, of course. Why? Do you happen to remember if the name of the guy you talked to? Ned? Yes, but his last name also. Wraithward? Thank you. I was sure I had it right, but I wanted some confirmation. Oh, okay. Is there, anything else you need from me? Or him? I mean, you did call instead of text, so... Oh, that was just to ensure I got an immediate response. Oh, well, okay. If you need any more, info on him, I am going to visit him this weekend, so... In the cemetery? Oh, in the retirement home. Mary. No, he died, right? Huh? I mean, I figured you kept on top of all this stuff. You didn't know? Died the day we went. Guess that emergency he had was serious after all. It also means the butcher could have been there when we were. That's why I was looking more into it just now. I hope you weren't too attached. I'll talk to you later. I was heartbroken. The butcher could have been there? Was it because of us? Because we were there investigating them? Were they on our tail? Did did Ed die because we... I had trouble sleeping that night, and I made sure to stop by the cemetery every day, finding out as much information as I could. If he really did die because we... I wasn't going to miss his funeral. Normally, when I put flowers on graves, especially new ones I haven't seen before, I bring flowers I grew myself. Buying them can get expensive and it feels more genuine to grow my own. But I had just been growing a new patch. I didn't have any new flowers I could bring. So I took all the little buds I could gather and wrapped them up and invited myself in. Wouldn't you know, his funeral was the same day I was planning on visiting him? Isn't it funny how life works? I normally don't cry at funerals. I mean, at least the ones where I don't know the person well. But I did cry now. I had no choice but to cry. All I could think about was him sitting there in his room, talking about how lonely he was, and how no one ever came to visit him. Well, they came to visit now. He wasn't alone now. Right? I didn't talk to any of his family, and they didn't talk to me, and I was fine with that. I didn't want to explain my reason for being here. The overwhelming sense of guilt was enough weight on my shoulders. I didn't want to have to explain it to them too. Normally, I normally don't like to outlast family members at their own family's funeral. But I couldn't help it this time. I had to stay. I had to stay as long as I could to somehow make up for what I may have caused. Family members dwindled, and eventually they all left. I'm sure they were confused that I didn't. But I didn't want to move from this spot, even if you tried to drag me. Oh, Ed. I'm so sorry. He didn't deserve this. I'm so sorry. This might be my fault. Maybe she was right. Maybe if I had helped her more, or we had worked quicker, maybe... Your family came to visit you, no? Your family came to visit you, you know? Just like you wanted them to. They all seem to miss you a lot. So, I hope you know that they were thinking of you. And your wife. You're right next to her, you know? I had been leaving her flowers for so long. And I hope you know that. I was taking care of her this whole time. So I'm sure she wasn't lonely. And maybe you won't be either. Now that you're beside her. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say other than I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I must have been really exhausted. The guilt I was feeling and how much I cried. I didn't even remember falling asleep. I had just been leaning against his gravestone crying, and the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the ground of an unfamiliar place. I picked myself off the ground and looked around. Everything seemed so strange. There was a faint green glow all around. The air felt foggy and moist. In front of me was a house that looked similar to a cabin, but this wasn't the cabin, was it? I had no clue where I was. What do I do? Let me look at what time it is. Ooh, we are a couple minutes away from stream end, actually, so this is what's gonna happen. I am going to actually save here because this is a perfect spot to save and continue this on another day. Because what better to do than just, what do they call it? What do they call this? Cliffhang. That's right. Cliffhanger. Yay. We all love those, don't we? Hmm. How was that, hmm? The first couple of hours of this game, or I guess visual novel technically, it's pretty good. I think it was pretty good. I'm interested. I'm lashed onto the story and whatnot. Yes, quit. There we go. Sorry about that. I had to make sure I actually quit. I don't know when I'll play this again. Next week? I'll probably make it a twice a week type of thing. Maybe I'll make it well, today's Sunday, so I mean Saturday, so I'll worry about it tomorrow. I'll put it down on, digital paper, I suppose, when I make the schedule. I'm thinking it could be a Friday thing. It could be a Friday thing. Fridays, I could also still make it a Saturday and maybe a Wednesday thing as well. So we can get, right in the middle of the week we get this game and then again we get it on a Saturday. Easy peasy. Outside of that, I mean, we met a couple of the characters that we met in the other game in the Blackout Hospital. I'm assuming, like I said, different context, so maybe none of that information we learned in those games really matters all that much. Mm, I do wonder though, because we haven't actually had the ability to make a decision on who we want to meet in a long while. Because the last person we met, or well, went out to do something with, was our cousin Croven, and then when we went to our home, we got the option to call somebody, and we called, the only person that was investigative in their nature that we knew about, Twyla. So we've been doing a lot of hanging out with her, I guess. Don't know how much that really helps us out, nor do I know if, talking to the other guy would have been of any help either. And I don't even know if we still even have the opportunity to do so, strangely enough. I don't imagine we can. I mean, maybe we can later on talk to the other guy. I forgot his name. Golden hair fellow. Reginald? Yeah, that was his name, Reginald. Maybe we can talk to him at some point. And there's the whole thing with the book, and obviously we are most certainly going to be talking to the dead. Probably. I mean, maybe. Who knows at this rate? Maybe where Mary woke up is just a dream. And there was still also that weird thing with her other dream, the previous dream she had, where she was hanging out with her mother and father, and her mother's a mute, so hearing her mother talk in her dream, I mean, obviously that was just a nightmare, but still a little weird. Maybe just chalk it up to nightmare. And then there's phone person. Like, who the hell is this mystery phone person? Why did they want to why did they just casually, essentially threaten to kidnap us? And they have our parents, apparently? Or Mary's parents, I should say. Because they're not my parents. It's just all kinds of odd. It's all kinds of weird. Can't really wrap my head around it, nor do we necessarily have any clues for any answers. And you would have thought that with Twilight we would have gained something by now. We got no clue who broke into the trespassed more like it into the diner that one time. When Mary went to the diner and her plushie's gone. And we've been hanging out with Twyla a lot. Who knows what? Croven's probably not gonna be show with that, to be honest. Croven's probably gonna be pissed. Croven's gonna be like, what the hell did I tell you? Not a very happy man. He is not somebody who is, as of right now, in a good mood. I mean, he's better than normal. Oh, he's normal now, as far as we know. And last time we had a conversation with him was the coffee place, the dollar whatever, Planet Dollars Planet. And things were all right until we brought up a new friend, aka Twyla. So who knows? Well, folks, I suppose I will bid you all farewell for now. I hope you all have a great rest of your mornings, afternoons. Let me restart that. I hope you all have a great rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, and nights wherever and whenever. Lurkers, VOD watchers, and anyone that was here even for just a second, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.